And last but not least, you want your corn knee-high by July? Better get the plant, boys.
I make my living off the land.
This corn's beautiful.
With aching back and calloused hand.
A lot of things gotta go right, yeah.
The old man said you reap what you sow.
This could be some pretty phenomenal numbers.
Out here in these fields of gold.
Why it's called yellow gold.
I move harder, work harder. I get the job done, yeah, I'm a farmer. I don't back down no matter what comes my way.
Crazy year, right?
I'm an early riser, an all-nighter. Call me plowboy, yeah, I'm a fighter. Ain't gonna stop till they put me in my grave.
It's gonna be a fun year.
I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior.
This episode of Corn Warriors is presented by Pivot Bio.
So we are at a field that my dad, my brother, and I personally own. It looks good. It looks good. This corn here was planted May 27th. Just checking them both out. We might have had some spider mites. What Colin and I are doing, we're digging up plants to take back to the front of the field. We're checking out the Pivot Bio corn and same hybrid with no Pivot Bio in it. So it'll be pretty cool to see if we see any differences. We're seeing some brace root differences already in the hybrid here where we started treating. So that's pretty cool. All in all, a great day. I don't know, they look good, but everything looks good. How could one be upset right now? Well, if it gets windier later. What I like about here is, I mean, look at the stalk vigor for all of them. The thickness, I mean, it's awesome. Maybe we got something, Dan, I don't know. Might need you to come up to Michigan and tell me if I this up or not.
So here, you're seeing deeper tillers and more fibrous root hairs. But if you come around to this side and you look at the root mass from here, I mean, it's pretty easy to tell.
The Pivot Bio was in furrow. We put a lot of stuff in furrow, but to be fair, the only difference between that block and there was Pivot Bio. Francis Childs, when he had that good corn, he always had those white lines on the corn. So that's how I know when we have good corn. The COVID's gonna have to jump through that root mass to get to me.
We're talking with our cooperator, Jake Drozd. Today we have pulled some samples from the field. We're sitting right around V10 right now, so the plants are pretty large. But we pulled plants from both the treated and untreated sections of the field to see if we could notice any early season growth differences. Pivot Bio Proven is a biological product that we apply in the furrow. What that product does once it's in the furrow and that corn root emerges, it attaches to the corn root, and by feeding off the exudates that it puts out, it's able to fix atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia directly on the corn root.
Yeah, so we threw it in furrow on the planter. The Pivot Bio corn, it just came soaring out of the ground. It was pretty impressive.
With our third-party individuals that helped us with information, we saw about a 6 bushel per acre increase, leaving the nitrogen rates constant, and a 75% win rate. We would consider a win anything over 3 bushel to the acre advantage. I do believe product stewardship is a big defining factor in how our product performs. So having customers with 2 years of experience under their belt is only going to help our win rate as well as our bushel per acre increase.
So here's an ear, nice little baby. Nice little baby, break her open, 16 round. Oh yeah.
We've caught word that we got some more lunatics growing some Mary Jane out in the field. Oh my God, they got little stands and everything.
I don't know why somebody had to come out here and tear the corn out because it's legal in Michigan. I mean, I don't smoke this. I'm gonna put that straight out there. Well, we're gonna spray. It's going down. We have about quadruple the rate of Roundup in here. We only use it to clean up around pivot points. Or in this case, the devil's lettuce. I'd probably go to bed around, I don't know, 11:30, midnight. Then I'm up by, well, old dog wakes me up every morning at 6:18. I don't know how he picks that exact time, but. Yeah, so next week we'll probably fertigate here. We gotta get all our pivots, we got everything running first. We're hoping to fertigate some fungicide next week here. Should keep it nice and green. So overall, I mean, the corn looks pretty good. Got a ear shoot we can pull here. See what we got. This one looks like a 16 or a 14 to me. Another 16. It's pretty nice.
So we're waiting for it to build pressure. Once it gets at least 20 pounds, we should be able to turn the water switch on and put her in forward and get the pivot started.
Yeah, Ryan, it's way better than what it looked. Now we're at Galesburg. We're 37.5 miles from home. We're getting ready. We're gonna go, we gotta service this pivot up.
No matter what the weather throws at us, Pivot Bioproven is harnessing what is naturally within the soil, making nitrogen available to the plant.
Where I applied Pivot Bioproven, the average across the whole field was about a 5 to 6 bushel an acre benefit.
And we know that large rain events are not going to leach that nitrogen out into our water.
Gives you kind of that peace of mind that you're going to have 25 to 40 pounds of nitrogen that's there and safe.
To make this a financially and environmentally sustainable business.
Dan Luepkes here. We're out on a Saturday afternoon, so we're just kind of running the neighborhood, checking a little bit of the wind damage. That Derico wind, we're in that alley where we can get those hurricane force winds. I haven't seen it many times in my lifetime, and I don't really want to see it again. It's right in between two farms I got. Actually took a big bend down here in one of our neighbors. We have some down crops, but nothing to complain about. It's August 15th, Northern Illinois, and we are going to move a pivot. All the irrigators are running pretty much full on, barely keeping up, I guess is what we'd say. So we're gonna start manually turning the wheels on this pivot so we can actually tow it like a wagon.
Slow down just a little bit during this time because we're pretty well done with spraying unless something weird happens like a tar spot shows up. We're hearing about some tar spot coming in the area, but hasn't hit us yet. Well, it's not manure, but it's not clean either.
Usually it really helps your rain chances if you just move an irrigator or you're making hay. That's what we found. Side-by-side studies. 3 to 5 minutes probably to fill this pivot, and then it's going to start running. We are also going to be injecting a little bit of nitrogen and boron and actually some humic acid that I like to have in with 32%. It kind of softens the 32%. Got a lot more comfortable when the sun went under, but we need the sun though. Come on, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. There, see, I got you. Yeah. So I do a lot of things low cost. So my trailer, I got on a salvage job for nothing. Free's always the best. I turn on the fertilizer pump. I kind of like the way this thing sounds. Just kind of just keeps giving it a little squirt, 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 squirt. So this is what I would probably consider consistently the highest yielding. Won't be this year. For the last 2 years it's been so wet, our groundwater, the table has come up so much it's saturated the sands. We couldn't get a lot of it planted last year, and we couldn't get a lot of it planted this year. So we were able to get the front planted earlier, and then the ground was so saturated we had to replant about a third of what we got planted, maybe a little bit more. So right now this farm has, earlier planted corn, replanted corn, later planted corn, and cover crop, just soybeans that we had leftover seed that we used for the cover crop. Still watering it for whatever potential we can get. I'm putting on a little bit of late fertilizer, which I'm a big believer in. I can tell when I'm starting to lose pressure just by the end gun. Starts backing down, doesn't have the distance, so I know that every other day maybe I gotta just brush the leaves off the screens. If I shut the pump off, it relieves the suction. I can get the leaves off easier. Whoa. About fell my ass. There's a screen on there and they get plugged up on there. And that's about all you gotta do, and that's usually good enough.
This episode of Corn Warriors is presented by Pivot Bio.
So we're walking by our retention pond, I guess you would call it, for the irrigation system, the drip system. Putting out about 500 gallons a minute. Recycled water right out of the creek and back into the ground. And then back into the creek again. It's called sustainable agriculture.
There are genetics that tend to throw doubles if there is enough fertility and enough space and enough sunshine.
Here's some of your multiple earring, but it's on the outside and they don't really count because that's out of the same node as that, and that one won't produce any kernels. So if you take a look down through the leaves and the foliage down in there, I mean, she's pretty much full up. Part of the problem I think I have sometimes is these plants are really big and healthy, so no sunlight is really getting down into where I really want it, but the plants are tall and they're really healthy and they got big leaves. So as you can see, it's really dark in here. So it takes a long time to pollinate in here. I'm hoping these ears get quite a bit bigger than the way they're sitting right now. Still trying to grow these so they get a heck of a test weight. There's some really good corn. We got pretty high hopes for it, but it's got a long ways to go yet. There's a few worms. We have pretty good worm populations in most of our ground from not using a lot of commercial fertilizers. Chicken litter and some natural cow manure. Using some compost tea. We think some of that's making a difference, or we hope it is anyway. I don't know about the brace roots, you know. Some hybrids tend to do that a little bit more. I'd like to see less of them, but I don't really think they bother me that much.
I think that the brace roots are suitable for our conditions and the challenges that this corn has seen. We've had some high winds and this corn has actually been stressed a little bit.
Just pull on a couple of these plants a little bit. You'll see how much power it takes just to pull them. They are stout. I actually wasn't worried about this particular field because I knew how powerful these stalks were out here. We do have some corn that went down, but I don't think any of this did.
Mice. I don't know how they get around, but the mice have been terrible this year.
We're gonna go to the towers and start checking them. If there's one pivot we hate servicing, this is the one. Oh, what the f? What in the hell was that? All right. So we gotta pull all these caps off every tower. Check the oil, make sure they're full of oil. And from there, just hope and pray. Fun stuff. Woo! All the gearboxes should be basically brand new. We've changed a lot over the past couple of years. So I'll just check the bottom plug and just make sure there's no water in it.
So my brother's putting on a Circle Scout on the end there. So basically it will track on her phone if the pivot's moving, stopped, forward, reverse, or if it's lost water pressure or not. It's just a pretty simple thing to track pivots, especially when we're far away from home.
Ryan, you catch this. Oh boy. Well, it looks like a mouse or a bird or something chewed that up, chewed those wires up. They're all green and corroded. That would explain why this pivot's so out of whack. We could fix it. I don't have clips, so no fixing. At least the corn's nice. Oh, oh, we ain't running this pivot today. The pipe's sliced open. Yeah, it's probably been sliced open for a year. Yeah, you can't even start it. It'll just shoot too much water out. This is a lose-lose up here. Wow. The pivot from hell. I'd rather be doing this than digging holes early in the spring.
At least this is honest work.
Yeah, you don't make a lot of money, but it's honest work.
I'm spraying our center points. We keep it down to keep the weeds out of the wires, the pivot, the steel. Keeps it nicer when we need to come turn things on, and it's also a good way to keep the landowners happy, and should get most of it. So now we'll go over to the other side. We'll do a little more spraying, checking on things. Most of the final repairs will have to wait till tomorrow when we have the shop truck. At least we got the big pivot across the creek going, so that's nice. It's another older pivot, and we got two newer ones that cover a little smaller area over there that we need to get running too. So we're just about done here.
We brought some seed company reps out here to get an NDVI map. So the corn is, obviously you can tell it is awesome. I mean, it is awesome, flat out, best corn I ever had. It's something they call willowing. When the corn is V12 to V3 to 4 leaves before tassel, it's really vulnerable to wind. Some little freak of nature or something happened. A little blip on the map came up. I've never seen it until, the corn, it just blew flat. I mean, it blew it right down. Obviously you can see this one was knocked around pretty good. I'm hoping to pull a grain cart load off that 10 acres. It did come back some, but it's not gonna be 425 or 450. I mean, it looked like it had something there. But for me, I'm probably done pushing this field. Yeah, I'm hoping to get 220 bushel off of it now. Put all that work into it. God finally gave us some good corn to look at, and then Mother Nature said, nope. Mother Nature wins again.
If you see this little bit of white, it's biology work is what it is. It's eating up last year's residue of what we have out here. You get a lot of that naturally occurring, but we think with our compost tea and the chicken litter and some of those things, it definitely helps speed up residue breakdown. And with residue breakdown is more nutrients for the plant to uptake later in the season. Kind of happy with what I see there. I'd actually like to see a little bit more of it, but it's definitely all over out here. You just kind of gotta get down on your hands and knees and look for it.
In this particular area where you have a little bit more space, it's a point row. This is actually called bouquet ears, where 3 different ears came off of that one node. This corn plant is really happy. It's getting lots of nutrients, it's getting sunshine, and so it's so happy that it actually wants to produce 3 ears. Some hybrids have fixed ears and some hybrids have flex ears, so some hybrids are supposed to be planted thicker than other hybrids. A flex-eared hybrid, the ear will get bigger and girthier and longer if the populations are moderated, or if there's enough nutrition to support it. We'll want to pick this corn at 25% at least so that we don't have any phantom yield loss. Phantom yield loss is when you lose yield by the corn actually pulling nutrients and test weight out of the ear just to stand in the field a little bit longer. So when you pick dry corn at approximately what?
Let's say 18%.
Even, yeah, some people wait until 15, 14, 13%. These kernels on top get really, really dried out, and it's hard for the combine to keep a hold of those kernels, and Dan believes that they shoot out the back.
Well, and you already break little tips of them off, and it may not think it amounts to much if you've got thousands and thousands of kernels coming through.
And he's talking about this tip.
And you just break a very small tip off a percentage of those. It's very easy to lose 5-10 bushel the acre just through mechanical damage when the corn gets really dry.
That's his own theory.
No,
Nobody else has ever said that, but yeah.
I like to keep it as green and as healthy as long as I can, just kind of actually slow dry down. I think that actually increases test weight in my view, as long as you got the sunshine. But I mean, look up, a day like today, that's a problem it seems like in northern Illinois. Every year we get so many of these, and it dashes our hopes many times because we can't keep the year filling and growing without the sun. Just like they always say, the sun is the key. I was in this field the other day because we were doing some DNA sampling. There's a wet spot in there that everything died out in, basically. There's one plant standing by itself, and it had a bunch of ears on it, so just gonna take these guys in here just to kind of show them. Over here, boys. I found it. Over here. That's one seed. Those are suckers coming out of each side. Same thing here. And I guess we'd have to count them there to see. So this one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
9 on that one, if you count everything, you know.
And that's what you call brace roots.
Yeah. Looks like something out of a horror movie, doesn't it?
Look at the size of the ear on this plant. Look at that. Wait, don't show this. We can take a picture and put it on Facebook. It's like 40 around.
40 around.
It's the biggest, girthiest ear ever. These plants are very comfortable because they don't have any competition. And also, they got lots of light, and they also have lots of nutrients.
I'll say it was off of multiple ear points.